once felt like home. Back in senior high school, I found a circle of friends who felt like sisters, people I trusted completely. We laughed together, cried together, and made memories I truly believed would last forever. But then, everything changed. They grew distant, colder, and suddenly I was left behind, confused, hurt, and questioning my own worth. I kept asking myself, why did I do wrong? When college began, I saw it as a fresh start. New people, new chances, and once again, I opened my heart fully. I gave my all to another circle of friends. I genuinely loved them. But slowly, that same pattern returned. Familiar coldness, distance, silence. It felt like I was stuck in the same story, just with different names. But this time, something in me started to shift. Through my understanding the self-subject, I began to reflect deeply. I discovered part of myself I had overlooked. My quiet strength, my deep sensitivity, and my longing for genuine connection. And I realized something important. Even if others turn away from me, I don't have to turn on myself. Then, something unexpected helped me heal. Wattpad. Reading those stories became my escape, a place where character faced struggles, grew stronger, and learned to love themselves. As I read, I saw myself in them, and through their journeys, I started bonding with myself, truly bonding. I began to understand that self-love isn't just a concept. It's something we practice, something we choose every day. From these stories, and from my reflections in UND as subject, I learned a powerful truth. My worth is not defined by others' actions. Friendship may come and go, but my relationship with myself, that's forever. My love, loyalty, my care, those are not weaknesses. They are gifts. And I've just started learning to give them wisely. Someday, I believe I'll find the kind of friendship that stays. But for now, I'm learning to be enough for myself.
Everyone have a goals, right? But ako, ewan ko. Anong goals ko sa buhay? Or anong gusto ko ma-achieve someday? Or in near future? At first, kala ko yung goals ko sa buhay ay maging magaling na architect or maybe become a interior designer or to be a fine arts. But now, suddenly, I become a nursing student. Life took unexpected turns. Kala ko, endgame ko na. Lahat ng goals ko or pangarap ko sa buhay, biglang nagbago. But it doesn't mean na dapat akong sumuko. Sabi nga nila, everything happened for a reason. So, in my almost a year of studying nursing, I realized na how fulfilling it can be. Little by little, I have learned to love and appreciate nursing. Every lesson and experience helps me to grow, not just academic, but a person. Now, I use everything I've learned and been through as inspiration to rebuild my dreams. I set a new goals in life. The path I chose may be challenging, but I know it's worth it because now I have greater vision of what kind of person I want to be. This journey may not been part of my original plan, but is shaping me into someone stronger and more purpose. And for that, I am truly grateful to be a future nurse someday.
You ever look around a classroom and wonder if everyone else feels just as stressed as you because I do. School can be a lot: deadlines, exam, projects, personal stuff, and sometimes it feels like there's just no break. Stress become part of our daily routine, and honestly, it can be stressful and exhausting. But I found something that helps me manage it even in a small ways. Coffee. Coffee isn't just a drink for me, it's a moment to breathe. The caffeine helps me stay awake, think more clearly, and get through long study sessions. It gives me that little boost I need when my energy running low. And for that, the coffee connect me and my friends. We bonding in a coffee shop, helping each other. The aroma and taste of the coffee can create a relaxing mind. And for that, the stress and pressure in our academics lessen because of the coffee. Coffee is often lauded for its ability to boost energy and focus. Its role in reducing stress should not be underestimated. The combination of the effects of caffeine, the comforting of drinking coffee, and the social interaction is faster contribute significantly to managing my stress levels. And it's not just about staying alert. Taking a break to enjoy a cup of coffee helps me pause and reset. The smell, the warmth, it's comforting like a small escape in the middle of a busy day. But even if coffee helps me to calm down, I realize it's not enough. I was still feeling lost and tired. That's when I knew I need something to guide me. As a student, the coffee for me have response to often perceived as a tool to cope with stress, transforming a simple cup of coffee into a one daily struggles. For me, coffee have significant role to acknowledge that moderation plays a key role in the relationship between coffee and stress relief, with significant implication for stress management.
I used to think a goal was just something you write down, a sentence on a page, an idea you hope to reach someday. But nursing school changed that. The constant deadlines, the pressure, the non-stop multitasking, it taught me something. Without a goal, you drift. You lose sight of why you are pushing so hard. I realize a goal isn't just about the result, it's about direction. It's what grounds you when everything feels so overwhelming. It turns chaos into clarity. It gave me focus. It reminded me that all the stress, the long hours, the sacrifices, they all have purpose. Even with a small circle, even when no one else sees the work, you know that you are working toward, and that's enough. Setting a goal taught me how to move forward with intention, with strength, and with heart. Because in nursing, in life, you don't just need a goal, you grow because of it. And the more I held on to that goal, the more I changed. I wasn't just surviving the challenges anymore. I was growing through them. But somewhere along the way, I found something more powerful than a plan. I found success. Not in reaching the finish line, but in becoming someone stronger through the process.
Success didn't happen overnight. It wasn't something I suddenly achieved after one good grade or one past exam. It came slowly, through long nights, quiet breakdowns, and small victories I barely noticed at the time. When I started nursing school, I thought success means getting high grades, finishing requirements, and impressing my teachers. And while those things are important, I've learned that they are just the surface. The real success is the growth that happens underneath all that. There were so many days I felt lost. Days where I felt physically tired, emotionally drained, and mentally overwhelmed. I started asking myself, is this really for me? But in those moments, I also discovered my why. It wasn't about becoming a nurse for the title. It was about the kind of nurse I wanted to become. I wanted to be someone who could stay calm during emergencies, who listens with empathy, and who brings comfort to the patients even when there's nothing else to offer but kindness and presence. That became my definition of success. Not just finishing school, but preparing myself for the responsibility of caring for real people with real pain, real fear, and real stories. I learned that success is all about the inner work, getting to know my limits, my values, and my passion. It's not always seen by others, but it's deeply felt within yourself. Every sleepless night, every panic-filled morning, every time I choose to keep going instead of giving up, that was success. And now, here we are. We are still nursing students. We still have more to learn, more exam to take, more skills to master. But today feels different. Today, we're taking a pause, not becoming everything is done, but because we've come far enough to breathe, to look at each other and say, we've survived so much already. We're sitting in this coffee shop still wearing our uniforms, but right now, we're not rushing or reviewing notes. We're just here, together, talking, smiling, and realizing how much we've grown. We may not be licensed nurses yet, but we're becoming them. Slowly, surely, and that's something to be proud of. This moment, right here, surrounded by people who understand, who supported each other through the stress, the goals, the grind. This is what success feels like. It's not a final destination. It's moments like this. Moments where we feel strong, seen, and supported. Moments when we get to say, with coffee in hands and hearts a little lighter, we're still in the journey, but we're already succeeding. And we're doing it together.
In a world full of voices, the hardest one to truly hear is our own. This made me reflect on the difference between how I see myself, how others see me, and how I want to be seen. I realized that I often try to adjust myself to fit in, but deep inside, I also want to stay true to who I really am. Through this subject, I become more aware of my thoughts, emotions, and even the little habits I didn't notice before. I learned that understanding myself is not something that happens overnight. It's a process that takes time, honesty, and a willingness to grow. I become more aware of how I think in how I behave and adjust on the situation I am in. It taught me that knowing myself is a continuous process, and self-awareness comes from being honest with who you truly are. It's a process that takes honesty, and in the end, this subject teach me a lesson and help me to take a deeper look into my life.
When I think about who I am, I realize it's never just one thing. It's a blend of beliefs, experiences, and roles constantly evolving. At first, I thought that purpose was just about achieving something big. But now, I see it as a journey of growth and learning. The more I reflect, the more I question, and the more I got to know myself. As I reflect on my roles, I notice how society's expectations shape how I see myself. Whether it's being a student, a friend, or a family member, it sometimes feels like wearing different masks. And recently, I have started asking myself which roles feel true to me and which ones are just expectations I'm trying to live up to. It's not always easy to balance, but it's something I'm working on. Family and culture play a huge part in shaping who I am. Revisiting old photos and traditions made me appreciate how my roots keep me grounded, reminding me where I came from and how far I've grown. It's comforting to know that these connections are a part of me, but they also push me to keep exploring who I can become. Then, there's the inner self, the part that only I know. Reflecting on how I react to stress or how I speak to myself has been eye-opening. I have realized that being kind to myself isn't always easy. But I am learning to give myself more grace, especially when things don't go as planned. I also know that it is important to nurture the mind with knowledge. It sums up what being a student is. But being a student isn't just about passing tests. I have learned that real growth comes from being curious and open to change, and not just meeting expectations. It's about finding joy in learning itself rather than just chasing numbers. And speaking of change, it would not be possible for me to change things without setting goals. When it comes to setting goals, I used to focus on impressing others. Now, I set goals that resonate with what I truly want. It's about moving forward at my own pace and staying grounded in what feels right for me. And as I move forward, taking care of myself isn't just about physical health. It's about nurturing my mind, my heart, and my spirit. It's about finding that balance between doing and being, between striving and just breathing.
So, when I look at all these parts of myself, I see a mosaic, with each piece contributing to who I am today. Some parts are clearer, others are still forming, but that's okay. Embracing the process of self-discovery means being patient and being kind to myself.
The more I say those words, the more I realize it's not really the situation that changed me. It's not the subject, not the events. It's the people in my life. Every day feels like a battle, a quiet one, with myself, with my thoughts, with the pressure of just existing. And yet, in every battle, I learn something new, even if I don't realize it right away. This month has been rough. Some days it felt like everything was too much, like I was drowning in silence. But when I look back, I see them, the people who stayed, who asked how I was doing, who sat with me even in silence. I realize I'm not alone, and through their pain, their stories, their patience, I learned how to listen, how to feel, how to be human. Sometimes, in the middle of chaos, that is when you see what is real. And in the noise, you slowly start to hear your own voice. So now, I choose to accept it all. The lesson of who I'm becoming.
Before I could truly understand others, I had to learn how to understand myself first. When I entered this subject, I didn't expect that it would challenge the way I see myself. I thought it would be all theories, but it ended up helping me understand who I really am. I realized how important it is to know myself on a deeper level. There's a quote by Socrates that says, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And that stuck with me. It made me reflect on my actions, my thoughts, and even my mistakes. I learned that I'm shaped by the people around me, my culture, and the environment I grew up in. And that's okay. But what matters most is staying true to who I really am. And even when the world tries to define me. I started to understand my thoughts and emotions more clearly. There were times when I'd hide who I really was just to be accepted. But now, I try to be more honest with myself and with others. Before, I used to base my worth on the material things I had like gadgets or clothes. But now, I know those things don't really define me. What matters more is how I treat others and how I value myself on the inside. I also learned that my values and beliefs help guide me, especially when things get tough. It's not always easy, but having something deeper to hold on to makes a big difference. Our lessons about learning setting goals and handling stress gave me tools that I can really use. I've started taking breaks when I need to, setting small goals, and trying to face challenges with a growth mindset. I've also realized that stress is just part of life, but I don't have to let it take over. I've learned to pause, to breathe, and take care of myself. And when things get too heavy, I've learned that it's okay to ask for help. I don't have to do everything alone. This subject didn't just teach me about the self, it helped me discover who I'm becoming little by little. I'm learning to be more aware, more patient, and more confident in my own journey. I'm still learning, and I know I make mistakes, but now I understand myself better, and that's where growth really begins.
This semester, I explored a fascinating journey. That journey is myself, what it is, how it forms, and how it evolves. I did not just learn about it, I learned from it. There are many realizations that reshape the way I see myself. I learned that I'm not just me. I'm every conversation I've had, every laugh I've shared, and even every argument I've faced. Every person I interact with shapes a part of me. I overthink a lot, and for a long time, I thought that was something I had to fix. But I've realized embracing my thoughts, my emotions, messy or not, is part of accepting myself, and that is okay. I have never really given much attention to my physical self, but now I realize my body carries me through every moment. It is strong, it is mine, and it deserves care even on the days I forget to love it. My faith has always been my anchor. Through every challenge, every moment I felt lost or overwhelmed, it is what gave me strength. It reminded me that I am never truly alone. As a student, I used to chase perfect grades because I thought they defined my worth. I put so much pressure on myself, always needing that validation. But I've started to learn that being a better student doesn't mean burning out. It means studying in ways that work for me, taking breaks, asking for help, and knowing I'm more than just my academic performance. For a while, I thought success was some huge, distant thing. But now I see it's in the little goals I set, the habits I build, the efforts I make each day. I've learned to celebrate small wins. I realize that they are what carry me forward. Small progress is still progress, and every step counts. Becoming myself is not about finding one final version. It is about learning, unlearning, and growing every day. And that journey is beautiful.